Guys, I didn't want to keep making Dead by Daylight videos until I found out that the killers in the game are playable. So with this newfound discovery, I'm going to make videos specifically about killers. And who's a better killer to make my first video on than the man I once mained, then abandoned after his rework, then came back when I realized I was overreacting about the rework. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the musical genius, the legend, and the most polarizing killer in Dead by Daylight, the Trickster. Trickster, or G-Will Hack, is an interesting case study because I never seen a killer divide the community more than him on release day. Nobody could have expected a Stray Kids reject to even be a survivor, let alone a fully fledged killer. The discourse surrounding his reveal was 2021's version of the Darth Vader and DBD debate.
The Empire's pretty chill. Maybe you could, join it or something.
Now, I'm not gonna say what belongs or doesn't belong in Dead by Daylight. What I can tell you is that behavior can cook when it comes to DBD lore, and turning a Korean boy toy into a murderous psychopath that mixes his victim screams into the music he shares with millions of people is one of those examples. It wasn't just the concept itself that angered the DBD community, but rather his power and ability. It was so controversial at the time that they had to rework it so that the controller players can pick him up easier, as well as make him more manageable to play as or against him. But we're not here to talk about whether or not these changes were good, or if adding him was behavior's biggest mistake.
Look, I made a mistake. A mistake?
Instead, I'm going to show you how to play as the killer, demonstrate his best builds, and give a live commentary on a game starting with his mechanics. Trickster is a ranged killer and he has a movement speed of 4.6 meters a second, which is standard for most killers but is surprisingly fast for a ranged killer. For reference, Huntress, Springtrap, and Deathslinger all move at 4.4 meters per second, but Trickster moves quicker than these killers despite being ranged. You're about to see why. His power, Showstopper. It lets you throw blades at survivors. They have virtually no recoil or range drop off, but to actually injure the survivor, you must hit them 8 times with your blades. You'll know how many more blades until they lose a health state by these visuals on their icons. Trickster carries 44 blades on him, but can be increased with add-ons. When in the throwing state, his speed is reduced and throws 3 plates per second. Since he is a ranged killer, his best maps are outdoor maps and short, unsafe loops are where he truly shines. He does have a special ability, Main Event. After landing a total of 8 blades on any survivors, press your ability button to continuously throw knives at a much faster throw speed without expending his knives for a total of 6 seconds, or longer with the use of add-ons. This ability is ideal at unsafe loops, bottlenecks, or out in the open and can guarantee a health state from at least one survivor. If multiple survivors are nearby or taking body blocks, Main Event feels much more satisfying to pull off. When you get out of Main Event by any means, you are slowed for about 3 seconds or unable to throw blades for a few more seconds. To reload your blades, walk up to a locker and open it, prompting an animation. This can be sped up by using add-ons or Iron Maiden. But now that you know how his style of gameplay works, let's get into the nitty-gritty.
Ding.
Since Trickster is a ranged killer, your blades will most likely do most of the work for you, but you'll need to know when it's best to use your M1 or your blades in a chase. Are you at a tall loop? M1. Short, unsafe loops that you can hit over? Blades. Survivor is near a window but their laceration meter isn't filled? M1. In some cases, you're better off just forcing a health state with your M1 than with your blades, and the more you play Trickster, the better you will get at understanding when and when not to throw your blades. For instance, you'll be able to sneak in a couple blade hits when you force a survivor into an animation within your line of sight. Pallet drops, vaults, glyphs, unhooks, and lockers are great opportunities to sneak in blades as these animations cannot be cancelled. There are some loops with little gaps on the walls that can allow you to sneak a blade hit or two within them. Abuse those. Also a quick note, Trickster can body block while using his blades, making it much harder for survivors to get away. Abuse that. While he can throw multiple projectiles at fast speeds, it is important to improve your accuracy when throwing blades. Don't feel as if you have to constantly throw your blades or get successive hits on a survivor. That will come naturally. Practice actually hitting your blades on survivors by throwing them one at a time rather than holding down your throw button, because making your blades count and not wasting them can be the difference between an escaped survivor and a dead one. For Trickster's Main Event, you obtain it really quickly, but that doesn't mean you should use it the moment you get it. Though it has a time frame to use until it's gone, wait for the right opportunity to activate it, as you can guarantee at least a health state when using this ability efficiently. When looping while Main Event is active, survivors will often pay attention to the blades when they're in the air, but may often lose focus on you. Take advantage of this by moonwalking while it's active, and new or dumb survivors will always run into you, letting you get the hit or even the down. Against experienced survivors, however, this has less of an effect, but as long as you remain unpredictable, this can still get you a hit or two. These are but a few tips I can give you for this killer, as with most killers, his deadliness relies on your ability to mind game and force survivors to make stupid decisions. But with these tips, they should at least make you better at creating stupid decisions for survivors. Now onto his 3 unique perks and a couple of builds for the Trickster. Starstruck. Survivors near you become exposed when you pick up a survivor. Good counterplay for body blockers, saboteurs, and flashlight savers. Hex crowd control. Anytime a survivor does a rush vault, the vault becomes blocked. No way out. Hooking a unique survivor grants a token with a maximum of 4 tokens. When a survivor interacts with the exit gates, both switches are blocked for 12 seconds, plus 12 additional seconds for each token you have, up to a maximum of 60 seconds. It is a staple in endgame builds. Speaking of endgame builds, here's my favorite one. Grim Embrace, No Way Out, Remember Me, and Blood Warden. Grim Embrace can be switched out with a different slowdown perk, or you can use Terminus, Noed, or Haywire if you want to fully commit to an endgame build. Another good build you can run is what I call the Scourge Hook build. Pain Res, Floods of Rage, Jagged Compass, and Gift of Pain. And finally, an anti-gen rushing build. Credit to Vodsek for this build. He uses Pain Res, Eruption, Hex Ruin, and Deadman Switch. Eruption. Every time you kick a gen, it's highlighted in yellow. When a survivor enters the dying state, every affected gen explodes and loses 10% of its progress and begins regressing. Ruin. While this hex is up, when a survivor is not repairing a generator, the gen automatically begins regressing. All 3 of these perks synergize well with Deadman Switch. After hooking a survivor, the first survivor that stops repairing a gen by any means gets their gen blocked for 50 seconds. Some may argue this is his best build yet, but I say try out different perks and see which ones synergize well with others and play with them. Now let's move on to his add-on combos. Iridescent Photo Card and Memento Blades. Eerie Photo Card gives a stackable haste increase for each consecutive blade hit. This effect is lost when you miss a blade or injure the survivor. Pair it with Memento Blades, which increase blade throw rate, and you'll be able to catch up with survivors and even down them as you're throwing your blades. Another great combo to run is Tequila Moonrock and Waiting for You Watch, which increases duration of main event by 60% and increases it by 0.4 seconds for each blade hit. This provides opportunities to down at least a single survivor while active, but in scenarios such as unhooking, healing, or body blocking, you can injure and down multiple survivors with a single use of main event. Finally, if you're feeling ballsy or if you end up in an indoor map such as Larry's or Midwich, you can run one of these 3 purple add-ons, which can either make blades ricochet off walls and hit survivors, pierce through multiple survivors, or shatter on impact, injuring nearby survivors. Now then, with our perks and add-ons selected, I will be running Vodsek build, and I'll also be providing live, uncut commentary to show you how to play Trickster. And as always, leave a like and maybe hit the subscribe button if you like this type of content. If you don't, I also do voice acting content, so maybe you should stick around for that. Anyways, thank you for watching, and if you want or need to, stick around for the live commentary gameplay. Peace. Alright, time to play our Trickster game. Now, this is technically the 3rd time I did this. The first time, not much really happened, so it felt very non-productive, even though I got a 3K. And second time was a really good game, but my audio on stream wasn't working because it was a stream. But that ended up not working, so I was stuck with having to record it all over again, which was kind of unfortunate, but we're here now. As you can see, I got the injury on the Lara, and now I'm just going to chase her, pop my main event now, since she's kind of in a bad spot, and then I get the down of essentially instantly. Now we're going to go ahead and pick up, and we have a Scourge Hook over here, which I make it to. And the whole point of this build, from what I can understand, is you have your Scourge Hooks so that you can hook without having to go, so that you can destroy your gens without having to go to a gen. And then you also have Deadman Switch, taking them off of gens if Pain Res pops and they're on the gen working on it. And then once you run out of your Scourge Hooks, you have Ruin, which is also regressing gens if they're not working on it. And then finally, if that goes away, you still have Overcharge, which basically just means you have to resort to kicking gens. But at the very least, you can still get value out of that and Deadman Switch. Now we get the Steve here. He's going to try to run back into the main building, and I think... Okay, no, he doesn't take a vault. So we're going to activate our main event since we can hit over these loops. And then we get ourselves another down. Now we can just pick up and hook the Steve wherever we can. Now, they already got a gen done, but I'm not terribly worried because that's already 2 hooks. And they still haven't saved the Lara, which is very, very surprising. But I think they go for her, so we're going to be a little aggressive here, and we're going to chase the guy that went and saved the Lara. And then, like I said before, remember, it's important to hit your knives rather than just spamming them and hoping at least some of them land. Now, we're going to pop this now. Oh, good. He vaults that. Perfect. And I get myself another down. Now we go for the pickup. And I don't think there's any gens right now that are being worked on. Oh, look. Deadman switch is activated again. I was going to put him on one of the scorch hooks, but I don't think we need to use all of our scorch hooks this early in the game. So I'm going to try to spread them out pretty evenly. Now, since Deadman's switch went off, I would assume there's a survivor running around here somewhere, but I don't see any scratch marks. So instead, we're just going to go patrol some other gens.
Yes, you're invited. Get over it.
No one's on the totem, so that's good. I can hear the Steve. It's a Steagle. So I can hear him. He's probably around here. Here's the Laura again. I don't see anyone else, so just to keep up with the aggression, I'm gonna go ahead and hit her. There we go. That's another down. And since Ruin's doing most of the work, I don't need to use a scorch hook. So we're just gonna go ahead and put her on a regular hook for now. And then, let's see. Yeah, that was an unhook. I think that was an unhook and a scream. So we're going to go ahead and play aggressive still. They're probably healing on hook. Yes, they are. That ace might take body blocks, but if he does, that's fine. We'll use it now. He blocks that window, but it doesn't matter because I still get the down with main event. Once again, I don't think we need to be using scorch hooks right now. So I'll just hook them here. I have max invitation, so I don't need to grab one. I know the ace ran over here, and the knee is probably over here too. So we're going to go ahead and check this gen out. And not at all like I thought. There's nobody on the gen. But yeah, this is another one of his good maps because there's a lot of corn, and those, unfortunately, or fortunately for us, they don't actually block. They don't block our blade hits, which is very, very helpful in our case. And then there's also, I don't know if you saw in here. I think I can check it out real quick. But there's certain things that you can hit through. So, you know, obviously there's your windows, but you can hit over this. And then I'm pretty sure you can even, yeah, you can hit through the metal fence here. So if you want to get, so if you think you're lucky, you can aim through the fence and hopefully get 1 or 2 hits in. And those hits could very well be the difference between a healthy or an injured survivor, or an injured survivor and a down survivor. Somebody's on this gen. It's the Ash. No, not the Ash, the Ace. We're going to go for the M1. And then we're just going to stick chase with him. And we hit our knives here. We build up our haste thanks to our Eerie add-on. And then we get the down finally. See, I think I gave them chances, so we're going to go ahead and put them on a scorch hook. Somebody is over here. Or they were over here. I don't know where they could have gone. Oh, there she is. This is the Nia. I haven't seen her at all this game, so we're going to go ahead and take chase with her. She's probably going to drop... Oh. When did this pallet get dropped? I don't even remember. Anyway, she runs off, but that's okay. I need to reload anyway. She didn't run too far off, so I'm going to go ahead and keep chasing her. Yeah, they're almost done with that gen, but Ruin is kind of regressing it while it's blocked, which is nice. Yeah, see, with places like that, don't be afraid to throw your knives. Same with that window. Maybe don't be like me and miss. And then also double backing does help because you can sneak in an extra knife or two. Go. She leaves the loop, which is good. And then this is a very unsafe loop first, so we're going to use our main event. There we go. It's an unsafe loop in the sense that it is short. If I wasn't running Eerie Photo Card, though, I normally wouldn't activate my main event there. I would wait until they drop the pallet. But thanks to the Eerie Photo Card, I get that extra speed boost for each consecutive blade hit. So it actually does help in that regard. We're going to go ahead and reload since we're not in chase. And we're going to go ahead and patrol some more of these gens. Here's the Laura, and the gen just got blocked, which is nice. Get a few knife hits there. You run around. Oh, wow. Okay, she is going that way. Okay. She doesn't throw pallet, though, which is very interesting. I think she throws... No, she doesn't. Okay, perfect. She's got to throw the pallet down eventually. She does. We're going to go ahead and break it. Then this is an unsafe loop, so she leaves. And we're going to go ahead. This is a good loop. All right. We pop this. And then she is essentially unable to go anywhere. And we win that chase. And then we're going to go ahead and put her on a scorch hook because we're kind of towards... I'd say we're kind of towards the end of the game, so... Also, there's fireworks outside. My apologies. But, we're going to hook her on the scorch hook since it's pretty close. We're getting towards the end, so... Let's see, here's the ace. We're going to go ahead and M1 him. Then we're just going to M... Oh. I think he just gave up. Yeah, when you're running a build like this, survivors will probably give up on you. Don't get me wrong, it's kind of a good thing for us because that means that's just another kill in our books. It's bad for them because that's a teammate essentially just giving up on them. And as a survivor, you don't really want that. I hear the Steve. I for sure just heard the Steve. I think he's back here. Here's the Nia. I think she also gave up. Yeah, she also gave up. We're gonna go ahead and end the game here. As you can tell, these survivors really don't like playing against Trickster, but that's okay. And then also, fun fact, if you aim it just right... Here, I can show you. You can... I don't know if they nerfed it or yet or what, but I've seen instances where you can shoot through the corn. Yeah, you can shoot through the corn, but it's very situational. I wouldn't do it during a normal chase, but if you're 1 or 2 knives away from downing a survivor, there's really no hurt in trying it, in my opinion. Like I said, just play with the killer a lot, learn the loops, learn how his power works, and learn the knives' recoil and their flight path. And I promise you, you will get better and you can hit crazy stuff like that. Yeah, even walls like this, you can hit through them, by the way. Just abuse anything that looks like you can hit through. Like this, I would not do it. I mean, yes, you can hit through like 1 layer, but it's basically impossible hitting 2. Over here, you can hit it, but you'd have to really coordinate it. Like this would be easier than hitting the other side. But I think you understand what I mean. There's a lot of crazy stuff you can accomplish with this killer thanks to his knives. And I think the Steve finds Hatch because I have no idea where it is. I think he's waiting at Hatch. Because I literally just heard him. Yeah, I have no clue where this hatch is, so he most definitely has found it by now, I think. Oh, it's in here. Okay, well, I found hatch. I'm gonna go ahead and try to find the Steve next. Oh, there's a scratch marks over here. I think he beelines it for the exit gate, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he's not over there. He probably went to the other one. I'm not getting hit markers, so I don't think he's over here. Yeah, no. He's probably hiding. Oh, I just heard him. Yep, there he is. He's gonna use dramaturgy. He might be exposed, so we'll go ahead and go for the M1. Oh no, he gets the extra haste. That's fine though. Nah, let's just go for the M1. And then, like I said before, there's just some instances where you just go for the M1 instead of just using your knives. That was one of them. And I know there's another instance not too long ago that I should have done, but I did not. That's a neat tech, in case you don't know it already. You can get up here just by doing a long swing. Works every time. And now we end the game with a Mori. And we get the 4K. But yeah, that's really about it with Trickster. That's really about it for this Trickster gameplay that I have. Anyways, if you made it this far into the video, thank you. And I hope you consider subscribing and let me know which killers you want to see next. Thank you and goodbye.